Believe it or not, this nightlight can hack you. Now, while it may just look like some innocuous nightlight, turns out under the hood, this thing's actually a pretty serious Wi-Fi security testing tool. Now, I've made a ton of videos on DIY hacking tools or commercially available tools, such as this, which is a ESP32C3 Super Mini. We can do the BLE Shark Nano, another amazing tool, or the recently released Meow Kit. Today, I'm going to show you what the Hackers Nightlight and similar devices can do to exploit your network, and exactly what you can do to protect yourself and your network. We're going to talk about 3 specific attack vectors, how they work, and what you can do to make sure that you never fall victim to such attacks. Because at the end of the day, knowledge is power. Then we're going to check out the web UI, because it turns out this thing isn't just a Wi-Fi security testing tool, it's actually a really freaking cool light bulb. It's got individually addressable LEDs, some things that I've never seen on any other light bulb. And then to top it off, we're going to do a full teardown on it and see what makes it tick. All right, I have been waiting forever to get my hands on this thing, so I'm super excited. Let's get at it. This is the Hackers Nightlight. I know it's a bit bulky right now, but this is kind of a manufacturing sample. By the production run this time next year, it'll be slimmed down and look just like a normal light bulb. But what's also super exciting is that the production run of these are actually supposed to have an ESP32C5 in it. This has a C6 right now, which sounds better, but the C5 it's dual band, so it's 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, which is amazing. All right, so let's hop on down to the desktop and take a look at the website, because I'm getting super tired of holding this thing. All right, so here we are down at hackersnightlight.com. You can see get notified for when this goes public. These are very hard to get. There's very few of these out in the wild. I was very lucky to have Peaks reach out to me and send me one directly. Peaks, you're an absolute legend. So yeah, here is the website. You can join the Discord, check out Instagram, or go on TikTok. Either way, if we scroll down, we can see some more information on this. So yeah, the Hackers Nightlight was designed with the focus to help cybersecurity teams, both red and blue, simulate and prepare for potential hardware and supply chain attacks and threats. So yeah, it's basically a security testing tool to make sure that people understand that these devices exist and how to safeguard themselves from it. So a few things to note is that it has 2 high-end RISC cores with dual band Wi-Fi 6. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say that, but I said that like 12 times. So yeah, it's got dual band Wi-Fi, and if you know anything, RISC is good.
Yeah, RISC is good.
And then it has 32 gigs of storage, and they say actually nice lighting. It really is nice lighting. It's really cool. We'll check it out in just a second. It was featured by 0 Day Ryan Montgomery, at least a version of it on the Tommy G show, which is kind of cool. If we scroll down even further, we can see a really cool kind of design sample of these. They show the internals and the externals of these. Very, very neat. All right, so at this point, I feel like the best direction to go is to just go ahead and check out the web UI and see what this thing has to offer. So we open up the actual website that the bulb is running, because it's got its own access point. It's super cool. So we've got the light color setting, which we'll look at in just a little bit, but I want to show you some of the cool stuff it can do. So it has Wi-Fi Recon. So right now what it's doing is it's actually scanning for all of the access points around me. So it shows us the SSID, or server-side identifier, for all of our access points. It shows the MAC address for them and the type of security that it's running, which is super, super good to know if you were trying to exploit any of these access points. Of course, the Hackers Nightlight does have an SD card, so you can automatically capture handshakes. And if you don't know how this works, basically when a device tries to log onto a Wi-Fi, there's a 4-way handshake that goes on. And if you can capture all of those handshake packets, or at least some of them, you can reverse engineer and decipher the actual Wi-Fi password, which is crazy. Now, one of the things I was saying before is I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do to protect yourself. So in this circumstance, having a very strong Wi-Fi password is absolutely essential. If your Wi-Fi password isn't good, so especially if it's just numbers, it doesn't really matter even how many numbers. There's so many password lists out there that if it's a 10-digit number, it's still going to get cracked almost instantly. So what you really want to do is make more of a passphrase. Even if you did something like, this is my password 19, but you use it all in leet speak and stuff, that password is almost uncrackable because it's so long. It would be very, very difficult to crack that password. So make sure you've got good passwords. All right, so moving on, we'll close this. Now, one of the other things it has is these are the Wi-Fi attacks down here. So yeah, this is where you can de-authenticate a device from the network. So it's the same idea. You're trying to capture the handshakes. So what it does is it basically sends what's called a de-authentication packet that very kindly asks a device to get off the network, which it'll do, and then it will try to log back in sending the handshake. It's a super simple, super basic Wi-Fi principle that basically people use to exploit to get the handshake. One thing you can do about that is use secure networks. There's a ton of devices and a ton of routers and things like that that really don't allow for deauthentication attacks to work at all. So make sure you have good hardware and that it's updated to the latest firmware. What it can also do is an SSID broadcast. So one of the things this will be able to do in the future is what's known as an evil portal. So an evil portal or a captive portal is basically something, usually it's called like free Wi-Fi or something that you feel comfortable logging into. And then when you log into that, what it will do is it will ask you for login credentials, whether it's Google, Facebook, Starbucks, who knows? But if you enter your credentials into it, that's how bad people can get your login information. It is extremely, extremely important to make sure if you're logging into anything, first of all, it's HTTPS. That will save you because it's a secure site. So you know it's probably real, probably. You still gotta be careful. Almost no free Wi-Fi typically really need credentials. Normally you're just agreeing to something and then you're, using the access point. Because no, just like anything else on the internet, there's nothing free. If it's free, you're paying with your data. So the evil portal is another Wi-Fi trick it's got up its sleeve, but another thing that this can do is it's got 2 ESP32s on it. So what that means is it can act as a man in the middle, which is really something you need to be very careful about. So man in the middle attacks basically mean that just that they sit right directly in the middle. You connect to that access point, which is the rogue access point, and then that access point connects to whatever you're trying to connect to, and it just acts as a man in the middle. The problem with this is they collect all your data. Again, anything you entered in there, passwords, credentials, all of that, they can gather. So what you can do to prevent that from being an issue in many cases is A, also know exactly what access points you're connecting to, and then B, one of the ways that people do this is what's called a karma attack. So what they do is they'll actually create a clone of a known access point, and if the signal strength is higher than the actual access point, you will unwittingly hop on to that different access point, which is super crazy. So there's a couple things you can do to make sure you don't suffer from a Wi-Fi karma attack. One of which is to make sure you're not automatically connecting to known Wi-Fis. My buddy, the other one, actually demoed this at Le Hack in Paris. He set up a fake hotspot and anybody with AutoConnect joined it instantly. Luckily, his version just displayed a warning page to teach people exactly how risky that is. Another thing you can do is just connect to a VPN. Now, I know VPNs are a bit problematic and they're logging all your information as well, but it's kind of the enemy you know versus the enemy you don't. All right, so moving further down through the web UI, we have module management. So you can turn different attack vectors on or off. It also, it says to make sure you turn off a deauthentication attack before closing something because you don't want to keep doing that. Now that we've opened up the network attacks tabs, we can see exactly why it's super important to make sure you're not connecting to networks that you don't know, because this is something that somebody could do. And if you're logged onto this network, you're kind of in trouble. So first of all, we have DNS spoofing. So what that means is it's the domain server. So if instead you're going to your bank's website, it's redirecting you to a different website and it looks like your bank. It looks almost exactly like your bank because they're redirecting you to a clone of the website, but it's not the real one. So if you enter your credentials in there, they're going to collect it. So again, never log into any network you don't fully trust. Furthermore, we have DHCP spoofing, which does pretty much the same thing, but with IP addresses. Again, this is just another one of those man-in-the-middle attacks that they'll collect all your data. The other thing, which is interesting too, is DHCP starvation. This is, again, this stuff's a bit in the weeds and it's a bit complicated to explain, but it's another attack vector that allows for man-in-the-middle or even a DDoS. So again, make sure you trust your networks always. All right, so as I had promised before, let's scroll all the way back up and let's just play with the light bulb because the light bulb is so cool. Let me grab it. So this thing is really hard to film because it has this diffuser on it, which makes it hard to see because one of the coolest things is, yeah, we can change the color, which is cool. Okay, it is translating. We can change it to just white. So how do I do that? Can I just do, there we go. Oh God, that's bright. Turn that down. You can change the color temperature. So we're on warm right now, or we can go to cool. Yeah, you can see that changing. Pretty neat. I mean, people have like warm lights on their desk and stuff. It feels kind of cozy, which is nice. You can also do effects. So this is really cool. We go to rainbow mode. Now it's hard to see, but if I take off the diffuser, yeah, okay, cool. You can see that. You can see all of the different individually addressable LEDs changing color. No other light bulb that I've ever seen can do that. So it's not just one color, it can do all colors. Now there are scripts you can run to do different colors, like they have a police script, which is blue and red alternating. Really, the world's your oyster. It's super cool. Plus, because it has scripting language, you can actually set it up so it's triggered by if something happens, like if somebody logs into the device, you can make it so it lights up red. I mean, there's so many cool things you can do with this. I mean, I absolutely love this project so much. So I think really where we're at right now is let's go ahead and tear this guy down and see what makes it tick. But not before this segue to today's sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay is your one-stop shop for PCB design, manufacturing, 3D printing, CNC sheet metal fabrication, and more. Don't forget the Module Store. Check us out. All we got to do is pop onto Module Store from the homepage and look at all this cool stuff. It literally couldn't be easier to make any project a reality. Thank you so much, PCBWay, for your support. You guys are absolutely awesome. Let's get back at it. All right, so here we have the Hackers Nightlight. So which is really cool. We have the USB-C and the SD card slot right there. And then we have another USB-C because there are two ESP32s on this bad boy and you need to be able to flash them independently. So if we crack open the dome right here, we can see we've got the two antennas, of course, and then we have the NeoPixels. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 full color NeoPixels, and then we have the ring of white, which is really cool because you never almost ever see that on a light bulb. They'll almost always use the NeoPixels to try to make white, which doesn't really work well with light. So the fact that they have true white LEDs in the background, very, very good. So super capable. So let's see if we can take this thing apart without breaking it. So we got this whole guy comes out just like that. And oh, they got shields on there. I was not expecting that. Oh well. So you can see actually the NeoPixel or the light board can come off. Pops off just like that. And pops back on. Over in the corner here are your SMA antenna pigtails, which obviously they come off here. Antennas go up on top. We've got our... this is power down here. It kind of screws on. I'm not going to take those off because I'll get lost. This is a transformer. So it takes the AC power, drops it to DC. And then underneath here must be all of our ESP32s up over the back. And yeah, unfortunately, they're all under shields. So that's kind of a bummer. Hello? Yeah, I don't want to crack these off. Actually, I lied. I tried to take this off already. These don't come off. I don't want to break it because it's such a cool thing. And these are effectively unobtainium right now. But it is pretty cool. If you look down there, we have buttons. Those are going to be the boot and reset buttons. So if we need to reflash these boards, we may need to use those buttons. Most times, especially with the newer boards, you can just use the USB itself to get into bootloader mode. So you don't really need buttons. We'll see if that's implemented in the future. But either way, it is really freaking cool. I really like the design of this. It's bulky. You can see there's a lot of extra PCB on here that could be streamlined down. It wouldn't be that hard. That's why the next version of this bulb will be much, much smaller. But yeah, again, it is just a really nice looking project. And Wi-Fi snipper LED board version 1. Cool. What does it say down here? Whoop, careful. Don't want to damage this. And then this says... oh, just a design. I should probably not show that. I don't know if that's important or not. I'll bleep that out in post. And then you can see we have all our numbered LEDs and stuff on there. It is really, really cool. And with any luck, I can get this thing... oh god, I'm all twisted up now. Get this put back together. Let's... So yeah, that is the Hackers Nightlight. It's such a cool device. I really like the hiding in plain sight, and it does so many cool features, and it's got so much potential, especially when we see it with the ESP32C5 in the future. Are there any other cool projects like this you want me to feature? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this far. You guys are absolutely epic. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications. It helps me out a ton. You guys are awesome. We'll catch you next time.